at 6:32. Stand for the pledge, please.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mrs. Vogel will not be able to join us tonight, so please bear with me. I need a motion to appoint Teresa Vogel as the permanent chairperson for the 2013 annual meeting. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion's carried. We will announce that AAMO has a notice of the annual district meeting available for examination by all those in attendance. The following individuals were previously approved for this school year to serve as election inspectors: Jane Bullock, Sheila Bullock, Richard Callen, Ruth Callen, Terry Collar, Rick Cutway, Margie Davis, Patricia Ann Davis, Connie Geiger, Jerry French, Richard Harmer, Don Wayne, Michelle Perry Jr., Michael, okay. Shammy Robinson, Doris Smith, and Marge Taylor. I will announce the candidates for the Board of Education for this year. For the seat of Amanda Fuller, we have Thomas Whitmarsh, Amanda Fuller, Julie Bullock, and for the seat of Thomas O'Brien, Thomas O'Brien. And I think we will go ahead and move on to the presentation of the budget. And I've asked Ms. Kelly and Mrs. Becky Phillips to go ahead with the presentation.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, no, it's not even ridiculous, also. Yes, it is. Yep, you've done that before. Okay, everybody has this in front of them except for the board. Amy Landry should be coming at any second. What Becky and I are going to do is just go through the budget hearing, and somebody, I'm going to need my back to you, so I'm sorry. But, in the beginning, what we're going to start to talk about are the different sections of the budget. Becky's going to begin with the budget summary, and then I'll explain kind of how the budget is set up.
And what we have here is what was approved last year, the 12.3 million. Our proposed for this year is actually 12.29 because of the cuts we made. Decreased amount 99,374. The board decided on a 4% tax increase, so that's 69,856. That includes the salary increases voted on by the unions. The teachers union was 2.9. The excuse me. The sports staff union was 3.25. And those were through negotiations at the beginning of the year. This also includes, which I don't have up there, an 8.5% increase in health insurance, which is something that's completely out of our control. TRS, the retirement system for teachers, went up 4%. ERS went up 2%. And those were the majority of the increases that we were faced with this year.
The next section, there's three sections of the budget. The first one that we will be going over, Amy, you get a second. Give it to Ruth, you get one also. She's gonna- is the administrative section. Under that section are the expenses that are related to actually running the school and managing the school. The specific groups are the Board of Education, superintendent, and secretary within the superintendent's office, the business office, which involves all of our BOCES, our own clerk, the tax collector, our auditors that we bring in, internal and external, the legal fees, the insurances, the BOCES administrative portion that we must pay, copies and mail, and then also the corresponding benefits, which I will explain. The first, as we said, what I did is set up the chart 2012-13, and then next year you can see if there's an increase or a decrease. The first section is the Board of Education. That has to do with the funding of everything that deals with the board, from policies to training to education and different types of programming. So that's the Board of Education. Under central administration, that has to do with the superintendent, the secretary, everything that goes on within our offices and other things, for example, that we purchase for the office for the distinct purpose of just the district office. Under finance, again, comes the business office, the clerk, the tax collector, internal, external auditor, and all the different things, as well as the cooperative bid that we always talk about under BOCES. The legal staff deals with our attorney's fees, our BOCES safety, which we have to use throughout the year for all of our MSDS information, for inspections, for our pool, any of those areas, and also under financial borrowing, under the legal. Under central services, that has to do with all of our printing, our mailing, any correspondence that goes out throughout the year for newsletters or any other mailing. For example, the budget package went out to the community as well. Special items are the insurances that deal with the students and the school, as well as any dues for professional organizations that are paid and memberships. The instructional administration deals with the principals, the offices, their curriculum testing, and as we all know, testing has increased immensely, and that falls under that area. So there is an increase which has to do with that. In-service education is for all staff, professional staff, and that is a section obviously that's just mandated due to all of the different things and mandates and things with ABPR, but mainly for next year, for us it'll be working with the modules, all new training, and anything with data-driven instruction. The administrative benefits has to do with TRS, has to do with Social Security, health benefits throughout with the administration for present and retired employees. So are there any back up one more, sorry. Any questions with under the administration for anyone? Okay.
For a Component 2 program, that's where the bulk of everything lies. It's everything for the students, the teaching, the field trips, the athletics, the extracurricular, everything's encompassed in here. Computers, transportation, training. It also includes the benefits, as I discussed before, which were greatly increased. We have the teaching in regular school, that's all your K through 12 teaching. It includes the field trips, your supplies, your textbooks. Special ed, same thing, but for the special ed program, it also be any BOCES related services, PT, occupational ed. It's included under there. Well, actually, occupational ed under the next one. We also have special schools. Which is the summer band, the summer, not the marching band, just the summer band lessons. After summer school, transportation, driver ed, any material and supplies associated with that. The instructional media is your computers, your library. The pupil services is guidance and psychology. Is under health services. We also have the nurse. Co-curricular activities. That's any extracurricular, the 8th grade trip, coaching salaries, any supplies related to that. The pupil transportation is everything we have to transport, not only for the regular run in the morning, but also for an afternoon Also for any sports trips, any field trips, BOCES runs. The bus garage building is a separate line, and that's to maintain it. Community service, this was the, excuse me, the Edwards
Summer rec
Summer
program.
rec program. And then the program benefits, as you can see, it went up over 200,000 just for program alone. And that's again your TRS, your ERS, any of your FICA, your workers' comp insurance.
Any questions under the second section? Okay, the
On-
third component.
So on the,
Sorry,
on the
Becky,
community service,
Yep.
you've gone from 3 to 4. Maybe I misunderstood, but I thought at one of the meetings you had, you decided you weren't going to put in the extra $1,000 for the summer rec.
That's not my memory
It was
understanding.
when you were here.
Oh,
It
I'm
was
sorry.
discussed, but it was never decided on.
Okay.
One of the
And
things.
it was, we already had committed to it, is where we kind of felt.
We had already talked to
Yeah.
both the towns and told them, and also because we haven't had an increase in many years, and I was not at that meeting then.
Mhm.
Okay, so it is still at 4,000.
But yeah, it was tabled at that meeting. But it was discussed.
Okay.
Okay, the next component 3 is capital. It's anything to do with the operation and daily maintenance and the running of all the buildings, the facilities, the school, the bus garage. It deals with all of our utilities, our electronics, fuel chips, phones, sewer, water, down to uniforms for the custodial staff, shoes, the pool, and then, again, corresponding benefits that you just spoke about, the debt service, which deals with bonds and all transfers. So for, again, 2000, this current year, this is next year. Central services and operations deals with custodial salary. It also deals, like I said, with their uniforms, and then it deals with all the utilities such as electric, fuel, chips, anything under that, propane, all the services that we currently use. The central services and maintenance deal with the building, actually, and then the supplies for the buildings and grounds. It deals with all the cleaning materials, the snow plow, snow removal, with maintenance for the trucks, for the mowers, anything would fall under that. Our warranties for the elevators and repair, as well as, again, I said, the pool and the chemicals and the upkeep of that. Central services and benefits, same as what Becca said, for that category or group of people. Under that, under the maintenance area, it deals with their ERS, their social security, their workman's comp, health insurance, and that particular union does have a small dental on their plan. So that's under there. Under debt services, that has anything to do with borrowing or for the construction and interest notes that we currently have. Under internal transfers, that's our debt service. Any questions on capital?
For the debt service, I just want to make note that it did go down this year due to us refinancing some bonds that were financed at a high point. We were actually lower at about 1 to 1.5%. Sorry. This is the revenues, as you can see. The state aid for last year was budgeted at 9.8. That's not what we're coming in at, but next year we're budgeting on 9.8. Again, the other revenues, pretty standard. Any fees we charged, rent for miscellaneous things. Fund balance is what we're appropriating. We have 584 right now for general fund, general reserves, and then 30,000 of the insurance, and that's based on if we use. The tax levy, again, is going up 4% to 1.8 million. This is just a quick look to show you where we have been in the last 10 years, just to compare. We are actually lower, or we were quite a bit of drop here in the 2011-12. That's when the GEA kicked in. So we're starting to build back up to where we have that. The fund balance, we're using less than we did last year, but we are depleting it. And then this is just the tax levy increase to show you what we've raised. Last year we had a 0% increase. The year before we did have 3%, but the year before that was 0, and the year before that was a 0.05, which only amounts to $905. So over the last 4 years, we've raised $50,000 in taxes.
Partially, the 1 year that we had the 3% was due to the contingency budget and the required amount of tax increase we had to do. Okay, on the vote, one of the things we have currently up are the 3 buses. It is recommended by Frank, our bus person, to continue with our bus purchasing plan that we had set up. We currently have 20 buses on staff and 1 van, on district property on staff, and 1 van. They range from a variety of, some are 24 passengers, some are 65 up to 72 passengers. And we are looking at purchasing 3 and trading 4 for next year. Of those buses we want to trade, there's a couple of reasons for each of them. Some of them, mileage is getting high, deterioration of the bodies. We've had some problems with cross members. One of the buses we've already put, well into the thousands of dollars, and feel that even with replacing its cross members for the second time in 2 years, it wouldn't be of benefit to the district. It would just be money poorly used. So what we're looking for is not to exceed $320,000 for the 3 buses. With that, with trading the 4, we are looking at getting $30,000 on trade value, which is significantly higher than what we got for our buses last year. Being again that these buses are in a little bit better condition, they haven't been red tagged. One is close to being red tagged, but it has not been. We do get 90% aid on our buses, and what that, when you subtract the amount that we're getting off of it, we're looking at for district section to be $29,000 over 5 years to be responsible by the public. So we feel that that's a reasonable request at this point, and feel for safety purposes, and also to be able to have spares that when they go out on trips, field trips, or sports that are safe. This year we frequently had to use our spares for different reasons. So that's for the buses. Any questions under that area? Okay. Next, I know that Mandy read this. We have 2 board seats that are expiring. One is Mandy Fuller's, and currently, and these are drawn, that's how we decide where the names go out of the hat. Julie Bullock, Mandy Fuller, and Tom Whitmarsh for the 1 seat. The other seat, which Tom has expired, O'Brien, he is also running again. The next slide we have just shows you sample ballots, how to vote, what it looks like, so that if you go into the vote, you know what you're looking for. It's pretty clear. It tells you what to do and how to do it. This is the initial budget proposition. This is for the buses. If you want to go to the next one, please. And then this shows for the 2 different board members that are running. Any questions on any of those? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Becky.
So the actual, you said that you was drawing the other way, board things different, is that?
That's actually how they were drawn right there,
This is
on
how-
that ballot.
Okay.
Yeah,
So it's Tom's and
Do we have any other questions on the budget? Alright, then I will call for the transaction of any other business that's authorized by education law. And I will call for a motion for adjournment of this meeting to reconvene at 12 o'clock on May 21st, 2013, for the purpose of voting on the proposed budget and resolution for the school year 2013-14. And do I have a motion for that? Reggie?
I'll second.
Lynn? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is carried. And we